Alright, finally into game number 3 of Dignitas B versus Quantic. Quantic on the blue team as they decide to pick up a Rumble in the top lane, Volibear in the jungle, Zed in the mid lane, Draven, and Thresh down bottom. The purple team of Dignitas B, they decide to go with a Caitlyn Sona down bottom, Jarvan up top, Diana in the mid lane, and a Nasus in the jungle. Very interesting choice here, as they've decided to go for kind of a different style. Both teams kind of picking up a mix of everything this time, instead of having one team be super tanky while the other team has a super high burst. They've kind of put it in the middle between both games. They've grabbed up a very balanced lineup, and it's going to come down to which AD carry gets protected, as there is a lot of initiation and dive power on both teams, and a lot of counter dive as well, with things like the box, crescendo, and even the Jarvan ultimate. It is going to be a really interesting game this time, as both teams are really close, and we've seen both games go 30 minutes plus, with the gold lead being 1,000 to 2,000 gold. It has been nothing until one team just made a big mistake, lost a few objectives, and really just couldn't recover. Thresh is going to be the big wild card of this game, as we've seen before. If he can land some good hooks and start these engagements, his team is going to be in an excellent place. Problem is, if he doesn't get those hooks off and Dignitas can get a good engagement, they are going to have a better team fight if they can start it. If they don't start the team fight, they're in trouble. But if they can start the team fight on their terms, let Caitlyn do her job of kiting everyone around and being able to auto-attack freely, they're going to be able to win these fights. The only problem comes with Zed and Rumble able to just throw down some long-range initiation abilities on top of her and kill her before she gets to kind of kite everyone away. But overall, it's going to be a really interesting game. Both teams really, really close in terms of basically everything. Summoner spells are about the same from last game. The only difference is Caitlyn's opted for Barrier instead of Cleanse. And that's about it. Still seeing the heal instead of Exhaust coming out of the side of Quantic. Don't know if that's something new they're trying or if they just want to be different. But so far, it's been an interesting choice, and it's hit or miss. It's different. I don't know if it's really better than the Exhaust. I think Exhaust would be a bit better, but it's worked out decently well so far. But without Shen this game, we're going to see a little bit of a different style throughout the mid game, where teams have to actually be there to engage, as Shen has really been able to split push, take a lot of advantages for his team in both games. And it is going to be a real interesting one here. And I'm kind of curious to see how the lanes are going to match up, as Zed and Rumble are incredibly powerful early on, once they get the level 3 to 4. But Jarvan and Diana are also fairly strong once they get 6. And we haven't seen Jarvan in lane in ages, as he's usually designated to the jungle, as that is where he does the best and really dominates enemy teams, as he's able to just get onto the back lines, use his ultimate, and he doesn't need very many items. He scales decently well with items, but he really doesn't need them. He just needs levels, and he can usually find those in the jungle. Looks like both teams are going to be grouping up towards the mid lane, though so far it looks like we're going to see the standard 2v2 down bottom. But I can't say at this point, as Caitlyn could easily rotate up top with Sona, but with Jarvan all the way up top, it's going to be very interesting. Looks like we do have one side cut off of the map, so we're going to see an invade here by the Quantic side of things. Will they actually be able to get engagement off? Looks like Thresh is kind of baiting them in there, saying, hey, hi, how are you? Well, they secure a nice move in the jungle. He does get actually a hook off. If his team were there, they could have capitalized and taken first blood. But instead they aren't able to. They're just going to go place that ward near blue buff and go from there. Quantic still playing very aggressively. Looks like we are going to see pings for a red buff start for Nasus, as I don't think he wants to start blue. I think they were spotted out, or at least they have to suspect Quantic's invading the blue buff, because they've done that every single game. They've invaded either blue or red, placed the deep ward, and I still can't see anyone. They haven't switched the colors around. I do apologize for that. We are restreaming Riot's stream as they are not casting it. This is the IPL Summer Promotion Qualifiers. These teams will get a chance to compete to enter the LCS, or at least some portion of it. And there we go. Cameras are back, and it looks like we are going to have a blue buff steal by the side of Dignitas. Same thing with Quantic. The difference is absolutely nothing, as they both leave that one wolf. And we're going to see Caitlyn and Sona down there in the bottom, but Rumble's going to be up top. I like the decision to get Rumble up top, as with that invade, they really needed the extra damage from Draven. Thresh and Volibear are going to come down bottom for a possible gank, but they do have very nice wars on the side of Dignitas B, and they will spot Volibear out, as he is going to have a bit of an engagement down bottom, but I don't think he's going to actually be able to get in there. Diana in the mid lane against Zed, and they're both taking a lot of damage, really wanting to fight, as Rumble starts with more potions than any one person should. Surprised he didn't start with cloth armor, because cloth armor in the shield, and he basically can't take harassment in the early game. But instead, Jarvan's going to jump in there and do a lot of damage to Rumble. He misses that harpoon. He gets the second one, so he's going to be okay. But Jarvan really dominating him early. Rumble needs that level 2 to get the shield or flame spitter up, and definitely needs level 3 so he can really maximize it, as he is not in a good spot, as Jarvan's really punished him early game. Looks like Thresh is going to get a pull in on Caitlyn. Caitlyn going to be able to jump over the wall, but yes, she is, just in time, as there was almost a nice knockback that would have meant Caitlyn was going to be doomed. But overall, a good gank by Volibear means that Sona's going to have to burn most of her mana healing people up, even though no summoners were burned. Volibear is losing a lot of time in the jungle that he could have been farming, while Nasus is getting a lot of farm. Rumble in a lot of trouble as Jarvan just continues to punish him, but Jarvan took a lot of damage from that tower. Rumble going to be level 3 very soon, and once he's level 3 he'll be okay. But so far it looks like we're going to have Draven trying to engage, as he's got both axes whirling and the lantern going, as Rumble is now in that danger zone, has hit level 3. And this is where his time to shine really shows up. Jarvan doing an excellent job of punishing him so far. And right now, Jarvan is in a bit of trouble here, as he takes a lot more damage. He has had to pop the red potion to get that extra bit of AD. Rumble continuing to burn his standard health potions, and using that flame spitter to really knock Jarvan out of the lane, as Jarvan is going to be very low on potions. Draven down a little bit to Caitlyn despite playing far more aggressively. Mid lane is perfectly even in terms of CS, and jungle is slightly in favor of Nasus, as we do see an engage here, as Zed does a lot of damage to Diana, and he gets the big hit with his passive. But it looks like Volibear is going to come in there and flash by Volibear, and the fling. It looks like Zed will come in there, and they will not get first blood unless Ignite is enough, and it looks like Volibear goes down. Big mistake there on the side of Quantic. Volibear was just barely going down. Looks like Nasus is going to come down bottom, but the lantern is able to save Draven, and a nice hook means Caitlyn is going to take a bit of damage from the minions, but no real threat. Jarvan out of potions up top, but Draven does not have any sustain, as he does get a few hits onto Sona. Sona going to be able to heal him up nicely though, as Thresh takes a lot of damage. Thresh does have some potions, so it'll be perfectly fine down bottom, as he does take a bit of harassment from Caitlyn. A little off of the mark there on that hook. And it looks like Diana is going to be in a great spot mid lane. She picked up first blood. She got that early Doran's Ring and Seeker's Arm Guard. So she's going to have massive amounts of armor, and that means Zed's going to have a hard time against her. Zed working towards that early Brutalizer, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to get it in time for it to be a real impact in the lane. It'll be useful later on when he rotates and attacks targets with less armor, but that's not going to be for at least a few moments. Rumble up top has entered his stride, as he's been able to fend off Jarvan and take a slight lead on him. Jarvan did a good job early game of shutting him down, but Rumble just wasn't shut down enough. And he's taken his stride, and he's going to be able to really punish Jarvan here. Draven able to actually start out last hitting Caitlyn, as Caitlyn had to go back fairly early, went for that pickaxe. Something that Dignitas does while the side of Quantic, they want to wait for that BF sword. But instead, Draven's just going to pick up a bit more lifesteal, as Rumble's waiting here and going to be able to get a good bit of harassment on Jarvan if he moves forward just another inch. There's the ultimate and the big flame spitter, and that means Jarvan is going to go down. Excellent play there by Rumble, just waiting patiently. Jarvan thinking he'd gone back, and Rumble has taken the lead for his team, as there is a 100 gold difference. Virtually nothing at this point, as the lanes are all fairly even, with the exception of top lane, where Rumble has really snowballed an advantage off the back of that kill and surviving the early game. He's burned through a lot of potions though, as he started with 10, I believe. And it's okay, he has 4 left. He's burned through a lot, but he's alive. He didn't die. He managed to get an early kill, and he's able to pick up some good items. He's going to have the Haunting Guys, he's got the boots, he's got the Durand shield, so he's going to be building fairly tanky. And I like the decision to do so. Looks like we're going to have Volibear coming in for a gank. Beautiful Lantern. Means that this is going to be a dead Caitlyn. Excellent gank there by Volibear and Thresh, as Volibear came from out of sight in order to pick up that kill. Zed doing a good job in the mid lane, as he does get his ultimate onto Diana, but Diana does have a shield, so she prevented a lot of that damage. Zed's actually getting the best of it, but there's a Nasus Wither. Zed going to use his shadow to escape, and Zed very low, but he uses the lantern to escape. Nasus in a lot of trouble, as Draven is able to secure that kill, with Volibear finally picking it up, and this is going to be a dragon, and this is probably the biggest early game lead we've seen all series long, as it is a 2,000 or so, soon to be about 3,000 gold lead after this dragon eventually falls. Little over 2,000 gold lead in favor of Quantic, off the back of some excellent Thresh play, and teams just aren't banning Thresh out at this point when they really need to. Thresh is ridiculously strong. He sets up everything so well, and while I don't think he's overpowered, he's worthy of a ban in the right hands, and so far every team has used him very effectively. Looks like we are going to have Draven just continue to farm out down bottom, as Thresh really wants to pick up another kill. He's about to hit level 6, and once he gets the box, he'll be able to go in there and easily take out Caitlyn Sona. Despite the fact they are up just slightly in terms of items, as they had that pickaxe over the Vampiric Scepter. Draven's early game damage is just so incredibly high. Looks like we do get the shield coming out, as Draven just wanted to last hit and secure that bottom lane, as he does get a nice axe. The hook comes out from Thresh, but no land, as we are going to see both teams just continue to duke it out down here. And Quantic is in a great position here. They're winning top fairly hard. Draven's doing a good job down bottom. Zed's up a little bit on Diana in terms of last hits, though she is up in terms of gold because she got the first blood. But overall, they're just feeling really strong at this point in time. And with Rumble gets late, he is going to do some big damage in these team fights. Jarvan does pop his ultimate, as Rumble is ignited. Rumble does get silenced, but he drops his own ultimate just in time to keep Jarvan away. And that lane is going to be turned around, as we do see Sona with a beautiful crescendo. Box thrown out by Thresh. He does get a nice jump away. He will not survive, though, as Caitlyn is able to pick up the kill. And Draven's in a lot of trouble. Volibear could rotate down bottom, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Zed not in a good position to rotate down as well, as Diana was cutting him off. And this is going to be the first tower of the game taken by Dignitas B, or maybe not, as Volibear showed up just in time to prevent them from pursuing. But within its next menu made, Caitlyn will likely pick it up, or as I said, she's going to pick it up. Volibear was doing a very good job of zoning out Caitlyn and trying to save that tower. But with that, it's a 1,000 gold lead in favor of Quantic Gaming. And they've done an excellent job so far of securing objectives and taking kills. The problem is Dignitas responded very well with a gank of their own. And it is anyone's game at this point, as it looks like we do have a pause right before we see some big action, as Caitlyn is about to get ganked down bottom, and I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get away. She does have her net, so she should be safe, but with Thresh coming in and Volibear right around her, it's never a guaranteed thing. It's going to be very close, especially if Volibear decides to actually use his flash. Looks like we are going to go to the loading screen for just a moment. Hope to have any errors fixed out very soon. And I really do hope it's a quick pause. Some pauses have been really long. As we saw from the last game of the day yesterday, they were pretty long, but looks like we are going to have sound coming out again. And sound and pings are very good. That means the game is back underway. No engagement down bottom, as Volibear wasn't able to actually get in there. He was spotted out by War in the Tri-Brush. And it looks like Volibear is going for a very health-oriented build, not going for that early kind of utility item. Kind of surprised, as those utility items are so valuable in the early game. Looks like Draven and Thresh saw Diana trying to rotate down bottom, but instead rotated right back to the mid lane. They're going to be able to pick up these double golems and continually pick them up for a bit of a gold lead. As we do see Diana jumping in there, but nice dodge by Zed. Zed going to be able to do a good bit of damage. Volibear running up, but not able to pursue any further, as if he was just a little too slow. He could have flashed. No, he did flash, but just wasn't able to get there. Forced Diana's flash, which is a fairly decent trade. Zed getting the slight advantage in terms of laning on Diana, but they're mostly trading farm. Rumble up 20 minions on Jarvan. And Caitlyn's gone back and looks like she's going for that Infinity Edge first. And going to be able to do some ridiculous damage in these team fights. She is up slightly on Zed, as we do see Rumble in a lot of troubles. He does throw down the ultimate and just trying to stay alive, but he is going to go down. But no, Jarvan actually goes down and Rumble lives. Rumble lives off near 0 health. I thought the Ignite for sure was going to kill him, but instead he gets away, he gets a shield at the last second, and is able to take an advantage. And with that, Volibear is going to be able to do some good damage to his top lane. Diana took a lot of damage from that ultimate of Rumble, as he really equalized that fight with that, and allowed him to survive. That slow just too strong, and this Rumble is going to look pretty ridiculous late game with that ultimate, able to just do so much damage. And it looks like Volibear is going to have time enough to take down this top tower and even them out at 1 tower apiece. About a 3,000 gold lead in favor of Quantic, the biggest early game lead we've seen all night, as they were sitting at about 1,000 gold back and forth every single game. But Quantic's actually taking a lead, even though it doesn't feel as big outside of top lane. It is pretty big. Zed in a bit of trouble and will not get his teleport off, as Zed's in a lot of trouble. He does use his shadow to escape, and the flash. Excellent decision there, and map awareness by Dignitas, realizing they're going to have enough time to get there and make something happen. Dragon's going to be up in about 1.5 minutes, as we see Volibear trying to save this middle turret, but there's no saving it. There's a 5-man push coming here by Dignitas, wanting to take that global objective and a bit of extra gold. Excellent decision, and it looks like they're going to rotate and secure Dragon, as all 5 of their members are down there. They're going to have all their ultimates up the next time Dragon does spawn. Looks like Rumble's going to rotate down bottom and help out, as we're going to see a full 5-on-5 engagement. Really going to be a good fight, as both teams are still fairly close. Looks like we do have Zed wanting to get a bit of harassment off. Rumble has hit level 11, Zed at level 11 as well. And those are big levels for this fight, as that means Rumble gets that 2nd level of Equalizer, Zed gets the 2nd level of Ultimate, which is where he really starts to shine. And he's going to be very close to that Bloodthirster at this point. Dragon has respawned, And Jarvan's going to be forced top as there's a big minion wave they don't want to lose. Looks like minion was hooked in, but Volibear not able to get in there. Interesting way of pulling Volibear in, as they use the Thresh hook to get close, and then use the lantern to get them even closer. I like how that was done. It was an excellent decision. It looks like Diana's going to get pulled in as Thresh comes in there, lands the box. Big damage coming out from Xzevz. Equalizer lands across everyone, and they're fighting in it. Big damage out here by Quantic as they're going to take this fight. Nasus is going to go down as well. Absolutely perfect equalizer by Rumble, and that just sealed Dignitas' fate. And this means a big advantage for Quantic. Absolutely perfect equalizer. And Thresh going in there with the box was just outstanding, as he was able to just keep everyone near that equalizer. And Dignitas wanted to fight that. It wasn't a bad fight for them, but they just didn't get Jarvan in there fast enough, and they took too much damage from that equalizer. As Rumble is ridiculously farmed and ridiculously fed, sitting at 301, 120 CS. Second highest on his team, third highest in the game, as Zed and Diana are both higher than him. Zed sitting at about 150, while 130 up on Diana. 25,000 gold up on the side of Quantic, while Dignitas B is sitting at just 20,000 or 20,500. Diana has decided to go for a very early Zhonya's Hourglass, as she feels she's just taking too much damage in these team fights. Most Dianas like to save that for a second item, but it's alright as she does take that first. Caitlyn about to finish that Infinity Edge. Draven, after picking up some kills in that last fight, has decided to pick up a Zeal after going for the Bloodthirster. Zed finishing off that Bloodthirster, looking to go for that Brutalizer next. Rumble has picked up the Giant's Belt, in addition to the Haunting Guys. Likely going to see Rylai's and Leandry's up very soon, as those are really core items on Rumble, and they allow him to do so much in every single one of these engagements. Jarvan going for an interesting build, going to have that Black Cleaver up very soon, as Draven is knocked back just a little bit, as he wanted to kind of pursue Caitlyn and use the advantage of his speed on top of her. Towers are 2-2 as we see Volibear and Thresh rotating around, looking to try and steal the blue buff or catch someone off guard. But Caitlyn has run really far away, and they aren't going to find anyone. Looks like we're just trying to secure that blue buff when it respawns. It should be respawning fairly soon. Don't remember exactly when it's taken, but should be within the minute or so. It looks like we are going to have another engagement here. Sona comes forward. She does have Crescendo if she wants to use it, but they just weren't close enough, and they didn't know where Rumble was. Rumble was right behind, waiting to engage with a big equalizer. They had an opportunity to engage, but they just did not take it. Probably a wise decision on Dignitas' part. As we see a group up, we're going to see a big 5-man fight in just a moment. It looks like we do have both sides just posturing around. That tower is going to die at any point, and I think Dignitas needs to just give it up. I don't think they want to take an engagement around it. Rumble is off to the side, but he was spotted. So they are going to try and engage on him, but Diana just misses. Not able to land that Crescent Strike and get the engagement they wanted. Draven dodging around as Zed is in there. Jarvan with a beautiful ultimate, able to kill Draven off right away. Rumble with Equalizer, able to finish off Sona in the back line. Exactly what Dignitas wanted, but they are still not really winning this fight, as it looks like we are going to actually have them pick up Thresh. They were about to take down Nasus, but not able to do so. Excellent engagement there by Dignitas, and they were able to pick that up. And they're going to be able to push something after this, as both Volibear and Rumble are fairly low. And trading Sona for Draven, Zed, and Thresh, excellent decision. And they're going to be able to take this mid tower, unless Rumble is able to do something miraculous. Looks like Jarvan's going to jump in there. Rumble going to be taken out, as Diana jumps in deep. And looks like Volibear in trouble as well. The passive does proc, and he will live off the passive. Draven throws his own axes, but they will not finish anyone. And that is a big disappointment for the side of Quantic. And they are trying to pursue out some kills here in the end. As Draven does come up here, he will be able to jump in on Diana. Diana gonna jump in on him though, doing a lot of damage, but Draven is gonna be able to finish her off as soon as she finishes that Zhonya's hourglass. Shut down, taking a massive killing spree as Diana snowballed that last fight, picking up all the kills and doing a wonderful job. Quantic has responded well though, taking that tower down, getting a little lucky that Diana decided to back in a fairly unsafe spot, and it looks like we're going to see Quantic push over and push this top lane out. They're going to try, and looks like they might actually be doing Baron. Or no, they're going to be baiting it. They were just waiting for someone to come up close. Thresh is waiting and does miss the hook. So close. That looked like it should have hit. It was really close. And with that, that engagement ends fairly quickly. Rumble could throw out an ultimate here as Draven does come in, but he decides not to, as it looks like their next objective is the blue buff or possibly Dragon. But Dragon still has another 2 or so minutes left on it, and they're just going to back up and farm. Quantic had an opportunity to go in there and try and steal the Dragon, or not Dragon, blue buff, excuse me, but they decided against it. Draven about to finish off that Phantom Dancer as Caitlyn has completed that Infinity Edge. Leandery's up onto Rumble. Spirit of the Ancient Golem up onto Volibear, in addition to a almost completed Locket. As you see Rumble doing a good bit of damage, but this tower is going to go down to Caitlyn, as Zed is under a lot of trouble. He does use his shadows to escape though, as it's a full 5-man push on the side of Dignitas B. They are down a little bit in gold, but they don't feel down that much. Looks like Dragon has respawned, and it is going to be taken by Dignitas unless we see an engagement really quickly. As it looks like Volibear wants to try and get in there, and I don't think he's going to be able to. Draven axes fly, but Nasus smites it in time. Rumble just wasn't close enough to the fight, nor was Zed, and they didn't want to take that engagement. So it looks like Dignitas is making a bit of a comeback here. They were down as much as 5,000 gold. They're down to about 4.5 or 3.5 at this point. But it's going to come down to who can initiate the fights. Dignitas won and snowballed very hard when they started the fight. Whenever Quantic starts the fight, they are able to really dominate it. And for everyone's reference, Quantic is up on the blue side. Dignitas is on the red. As we do see Draven just pushing out that bottom lane, wanting to finish off that Phantom Dancer, which will give him a real big advantage in the next fight. Caitlyn has finished off the Zeal, so she is going to be doing some ridiculous damage. Aegis of the Legion up onto Nasus. As we see Thresh going for a very gold per 10 heavy build. Rylai's Crystal Scepter almost up on the Rumble, as we do see Jarvan tanking it up after picking up that Black Cleaver. Caitlyn going to be throwing out her ultimate, just doing a little bit of damage to Zed. Not a whole lot, as the Locket is completed up on Volibear. And it looks like we are going to see Dignitas trying to get some control on Baron and likely bait out a fight, as they have picked up an Oracle's Elixir onto Sona. But instead, we're going to see Quantic just pushing down this middle lane. Quantic wanting to take a fight, but they want to take a fight on their terms, and that was a good opportunity to try and make one happen. If someone was kind of straggling about, not playing with the team, and they could use this as an opportunity to just throw out a few Thresh hooks and try and make the fight happen. Looks like we do have Zed just trying to throw out some poke. Neither team really getting an advantage in poke, as they both take a fair bit on each side, but they're able to heal it up fairly quickly. And it's going to be who can engage. If Dignitas gets engaged, they're going to win the fight. Virtually no questions asked. If Quantic gets a decent engagement off, the fight's basically over before it starts. And it looks like Caitlyn with down bottom is going to be giving up this middle turret. That's a bit too big a minion wave to lose, as Sona does flash away. And with that, Jarvan's going to jump in the mid lane. Box is thrown out. Jarvan in a lot of trouble, as he's taking a lot of damage, but they aren't able to really finish him off. Draven throws his axe to the mid lane, and everyone is low on the side of Dignitas. But Sona able to heal them up fairly nicely. And with those few ultimates down, it is going to be a good time for Dignitas to engage. Thresh just a little off on that hook, as Caitlyn takes a lot of damage from Rumble. those harpoons doing some massive damage to her. But she is able to lifesteal decently well. And another tower taken by Quantic. They are up 4-3 in terms of towers. 8-6 they're up in terms of kills. And they're up about 4,000 gold as Volibear is looking to engage. But he dodged that Crescent Strike. Looks like they are going to jump in onto Rumble as he takes a lot of damage. Rumble throws out a beautiful ultimate across the entire team as they are just sitting it on the Dignitas side, but no one going down except for Rumble. It looks like Volibear is going to get some good damage onto Diana as Thresh finishes her off. Zed in the back line is getting taken very low. Caitlyn is going to jump away. Nasus is going to go down as well. Or maybe not. Yes, he is as Thresh flashes forward and is able to get the final kill. Thresh picking up a double kill. And with everyone low, this is Quantic's chance to push. Draven will have his axes up in just a moment, and will he be able to throw them for a kill? Looks like Volibear isn't able to pursue, but he is able to stop Sona from doing so. And it looks like Quantic is going to be able to push out that bottom lane and go for a push there. It was a bad engagement for Quantic as Rumble was picked off before the fight really got going, but they managed to make the best of it and trade it evenly as both teams lost two important players, and trading Rumble and Zed for Nasus and Diana is fairly even. Zed has decided to go for an early Last Whisper instead of picking up the Brutalizer, so he'll be doing ridiculous amounts of damage. And I don't mind the decision as Diana has a fair amount of armor already, and that's likely is going on as I don't think he's going to be able to reach Caitlyn very easily unless she's just way out of position. Diana has finished up that death cap after picking up a lot of kills in these fights. Draven is going for that Last Whisper next as he has picked up the pickaxe and longsword. Thresh has finished off the Aegis of the Legion, soon to have that runic bulwark up. Volibear going to be picking up and it looks like a Warden's Mail very soon, working into Randuin's Omen. Rumble has finished off that Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Caitlyn about to finish off a Phantom Dancer. Nasus is going to be finishing off that Locket after completing the Bulwark. And Jarvan likely to complete either a Sunfire Cape or Warmonks. So it looks like Quantic wants to engage. They pull people forward. Thresh throws out the hook and does land on Sona. He does move forward. He does get a nice engagement. Those are down the box. Sona not able to get anything going, but Zed is taken out before the fight really begins. Draven doing some good damage on the back line as Rumble just continues to roam through this fight. Excellent fight here by the side of Quantic as Rumble is doing some big damage, but he will go down to Caitlyn. And overall, 4 for 2 as Thresh is very low, but Caitlyn the only survivor on the member Dignitas. And that was Thresh getting another big engagement, taking out Sona, and Sona hasn't used her crescendo in these fights. She needs to just turn around, throw it out, accept the fact she's going to die, but she tries to escape. And if she got a crescendo off, that fight might have ended better for the side of Dignitas, but instead they're going to lose an inhibitor, and they're going to be in a pretty poor position. Down now 6,000-ish gold, and they're going to be down about 7,000 after Dragon is taken, assuming Quantic can actually take it. And Dignitas doesn't make a big play on something like Baron at this point. That would be probably the best decision here for the side of Quantic, or side of Dignitas, just to rush Baron. They realize Volibear's low. Draven needs to pick up his next set of items, and Thresh was virtually dead, as he does actually finish off that runic bulwark. And so far, Thresh's hooks have been absolutely monumental in these fights, able to really turn them one way or the other and set things up. Zed did a good job there of burning his burst damage, soaking enough damage, then kind of forcing the enemy team a little deeper into his own in order to finish off the engagement. Rumble picking up a bit more armor as he got a little greedy in that last fight, and a bit more armor means he'll be able to actually get on Caitlyn, stay on top of her, and make sure she doesn't get any auto attacks off outside of what few she gets while backing up. Draven has completed that Last Whisper in addition to the Phantom Dancer, so he's going to look for some big damage in these upcoming fights. Volibear getting very close to that Warden's Mail, and that'll give him another level of protection against Caitlyn, who was the only real big threat to him, as Diana's going to want to go for the squishier targets like Zed or Draven. Looks like Thresh and Volibear are trying for an engagement, but instead they're not going to find it, as they were just a little too far away. as it looks like Rumble is here wanting to get a fight started. They throw down the pink ward, and it looks like they're going to rotate around and take this top tower. Dignitas just not in a position to defend it at this point. They're going to be just a little late to the party, assuming this minion wave gets here anytime soon. And yeah, they're definitely just a little late to the party here, but they're going to force Quantic back. But this gives Thresh the opportunity to throw out some hooks, siege the tower, do exactly what Quantic wants. Quantic wants to siege the tower and get some poke off. They have about the same amount of poke, with Caitlyn and Draven being the only significant forms of poke. But I think Draven does just a bit more damage at this point, as he does have a lot of damage. And if you saw, as Caitlyn got taken down to half health in what looked like 2 swings. Thresh going to come out to the side as he is engaged upon. He does get a nice flash away. He does pull Jarvan in as we do see an equalizer across the entire team, and there's no way Dignitas can fight this. Jarvan going down, Zed popping a nice ultimate off, but there's finally a crescendo. Double kill by Draven, and he's going to snowball this fight. That was just a very poor engagement by Dignitas. They got a little greedy, and with this, Caitlyn could go down, and this could be game. 3 are down on the side of Dignitas. All 5 are up on the side of Quantic. And it looks like Quantic wants to go for the GG. Excellent decision, as I don't think there's any stopping at this point. The only one that can really stop is Caitlyn, and she just takes so much damage from Draven. And that will be good game in favor of Quantic. Rumble trying to kill her in the fountain, as Draven just continues to pummel this Nexus. And with that, Caitlyn going down. Good game in favor of Quantic off the back of some excellent Thresh play and some beautiful, beautiful equalizers from Rumble. Doing more than just equalizing the battle. They really stomped Dignitas in those team fights. Excellent play out of Quantic.
Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more, follow my YouTube and Twitch pages below.